want to try this one.
Majora's Mask is a game that stands apart. A pocket-sized world of colossal emotions.
Yeah, let's do Majora's Mask, because honestly, I'm not sure if I'm going to continue it. I mean, maybe years down the road, who knows, but, I mean, right now I'm just not feeling it.
And daunting mysteries.
I want to
Its
go to the next
themes
one.
and dark beauty have etched themselves into the memories of countless players. The relentless descent of the moon, the enigmatic inhabitants of Termina, and the eerie Majora's Mask itself. These are all a part of a unique tapestry that make this strange but lovable game. To end October this year, let's dive into the story and development of Majora's Mask to see what we can uncover about this classic Zelda title.
Shout out to these people who make these videos too. I mean, I can tell they put a lot of effort into these videos, and it makes me appreciate them for sure. Yeah.
Welcome to October.
I'm trying to think if I want to start with Oracle of Seasons or Ages. I mean, we could possibly try it, just to see. But yeah, these videos are amazing for sure.
Our story continues after the events of Ocarina of Time, with Link, the hero of time, living out the remainder of his childhood in his peaceful timeline. Link is on a journey to find his fairy friend Navi, who just up and bounced once the timeline was saved. And the crazy thing about this is that Link never sees Navi again. The game doesn't even solve this plotline. The adventure this time begins with a weary Link and his trusted steed Epona navigating a dense forest, oblivious to the unseen eyes tracking their every move. Two mischievous fairies under the command of Skull Kid ambush Link, and they all set his own horse and left the rabbit.
We did see this. We did play through this part.
And this to add information, it runs off this because she's taken the loss of his facing. We've met far and wide, exchanged and through.
Right,
but
we saw this guy.
Time get the bar dimensional, and we'll talk free to roam and explore Termina. But it's not long before the game reveals. So
we can skip a little bit because we did play through it.
Link body from the mass sales. And that the set to power and Mask wants it. Advice officially begin to do that.
Okay.
After the huge success of Ocarina of Time, Nintendo couldn't afford to let the extensive effort invested in creating that game go to waste without leveraging its game engine and assets for a new project. This time, a more compact team consisting of Eiji Aonuma, Shigeru Miyamoto, and Yoshiaki Koizumi took the helm, determined to craft a follow-up to Ocarina of Time. As you all might know from the last video, the team worked on the Nintendo 64 DD version of Ocarina of Time, an enhanced version of the classic concept proposal. The race was on, and to meet this tight schedule, they repurposed a significant portion of existing content from Ocarina of Time, significantly reducing their development time. Yoshiaki Koizumi proposed the idea of a...
That actually makes sense, though, because there is something about it, you just don't feel as into it, you know? And I don't know if you could just tell that it's not, they didn't put as, I don't want to say they didn't put as much effort into it, but it's not Ocarina, you know what I mean? You could just tell. So that makes sense, actually.
3-day system where players would have to play the same moments over and over again. Originally, the developers toyed with a week-long time frame, but the demands of in-game character schedules led to a shift to a 3-day cycle. That looming moon, descending ominously from the sky, was a unique idea born from the imagination of Koizumi as well. Inspired by his daydream of the actual moon falling to Earth, he decided to incorporate this into the game. In an interview with Famitsu, Koizumi mentions that they drew inspiration from the 1998 film Run Lola Run, where a girl relives the same critical period multiple times, influencing outcomes with each iteration. This idea served as the foundation for Majora's Mask, infusing it with a sense of urgency and depth. And while the gameplay has similarities to its predecessor, Majora's Mask introduced a groundbreaking feature as well, the mask transformation system. Masks aren't merely cosmetic, they became central to the main quest and side quests, adding depth and intrigue to the game itself. But we'll explore some of these masks shortly. Stepping up once again to compose the score was the legendary Koji Kondo. But joining Wind of Minagishi is all mask with realization. Nomura's name would be a lot to that is Termina on. The evil set stitched with all of these weird encounters that sometimes leave you asking more questions, or they might just bring a tear to your eye. If you're not making a beeline to the end of the game, Link can meet several different characters within Termina, all with their own schedules in this 3-day time frame. This contributes to remarkable world building and helps give these citizens even more colorful personalities than what we experienced in Ocarina of Time. One of the most popular side quests is that of Kafei and Anju, The only side marry when they were children and planned that they would have a day with eye out for actual eventually weddings to bring
I don't care about side quests.
For that particular talking with Mr. Quinn and says, hold up, we got pictures. Oh look, which already sets the tone of a rather sinister force looming over this ranch. Cremia, on the other hand, as the elder sister, has a habit of
side quest.
Tied from happening off the close. If Link, okay, if that one wasn't weird enough for you, how about this hand sticking out of the toilet? If Link enters the restroom of the Stockpot Inn on any night between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m., this hand will surface from the toilet asking for paper. You can simply give it any letter items you may have or title deeds and it will be satisfied, rewarding Link with a piece of heart that fell into the toilet. I would ask how exactly that fell in, but there's literally a hand sticking out of a toilet here. This hand would also make an appearance in Oracle of Ages and Skyward Sword, and during the time of the release of Skyward Sword, Entertainment Weekly would ask Miyamoto about this. In a couple of different swords,
so that's what Oracle
some
Ages
ghost
is.
stories in Japan where one of my canyon, there is a special house with a water wheel that plays a song known as Farewell to Gibdos. A special song used to drive away Gibdos and causing house those Gibdos.
He does explain the story, right?
Once in the console rings true, as Link can obtain collectible masks as a reward for completion. For example, seeing the Anjo and Cafe quest to its end will have them gift Link with the couple's mask. Or while Pamela has this tear-jerking reunion with her cured father, a Gibdo mask will be on the floor for Link to collect. There are 20 collectible
maybe they were inspired by Final Fantasy VII.
masks in all, which excludes the 3 transformation masks that Link will obtain throughout the story. These 3 masks are crucial to plot progression and include the Deku mask, Goron mask, and Zora mask, allowing Link to transform into these 3 races and use their abilities. If this game wasn't dark enough though, each of these transformation masks represent a deceased individual from each race, like the Goron mask for instance, embodying the soul of Darmani III, a Goron hero that was a great warrior of the tribe who succumbed to a flaw.
Yeah, this game is, now you mentioned, this game is like definitely one of the darkest ones I've seen so far. I mean, is this game rated M or is it rated T? Do you know, Midgar? Because if it's not rated M, I'm a little surprised at that, actually.
Fall from the mountains of the Snowhead region due to a blizzard. The Deku mask is from the dead son of the butler who served the Deku King. You encounter him at the very beginning of the game as a withered tree, his soul turned to a mask by the Skull Kid to curse Link. And to take it a step further, it was always a bit jarring seeing Link have to go through what seems like a painful transformation every time.
Yeah, really.
Aonuma would actually be asked about these transformations by Game Informer and why it looked like it hurt so much for Link, to which he responded, "We're talking about masks that were created to contain the memories of people who have died. Often there are things they really wanted to do before they left this world, so becoming them is actually really painful because it's like hosting a really powerful spirit that's coming into you." After reading all of these interviews, I wonder why Aonuma hasn't directed an all-out horror game yet. So we head back to our main plot. Link travels to each region, guided by the advice of Tao.
I like this guy. Like also it's rated E for... It's rated E? Really? Seriously? Wow. I would think it'd be at least rated T. Damn. Should be rated M, honestly.
First being the Southern Swamp and home to the Deku Kingdom, where he frees the spirit of the Mask of Odalwa, the major boss for that area. Next is Snowhead Mountain, the home of the Gorons, where Link defeats Goat at Snowhead Temple to free the second giant. The third giant is liberated from Hjorg in the Great Bay.
Especially the noises they make, you know? All the noises are like blood-curdling screams. I'm like, what the hell?
Home of the Zoras. And finally, in the Akana Canyon, Link will take on Twin Mold to free the final giant.
Light work, no reaction.
For those who engaged in conversations with Anju's grandmother throughout the game, they were treated to a fascinating nugget of lore about these giants. In the distant past, before the land of Termina was fractured into 4 regions, a single realm thrived with the presence of 4 benevolent giants. And these mighty beings made a pact to watch over the land's inhabitants, and if they were ever needed, a powerful call would summon them. But of course, there's a dark twist to this tale. One imp, feeling abandoned by his giant friends, spiraled into bitterness and began sowing discord across the 4 worlds. In response to this menace, the people of Termina resorted to summoning the giants, leading to an act of exile. The imp was even more saddened that his old friends would threaten him, so he returns to the heavens to hide out from their anger, and peace was restored to the 4 worlds. This is a pretty obvious tale of Skull Kid's origins, and I think the implication here is that he was exiled from Termina and found himself spending his time in the lost woods of Hyrule. But let's see what he has to say for himself later at the end of the game.
Alright. It would be, but in our days, there shows with the crystal is like keeping really friendly, so I can say fucking. Well, you know, it is the same I've noticed with some movies, you know? Like, some movies back then are rated, like, PG, but sometimes I wonder how they're not, like, rated at least PG-13 or rated R, you know? Because it definitely would be these days, for sure, yeah. You're right.
These regions that Link visits has its own problems caused by the Skull Kid, which harkens back to the setup of Ocarina of Time and Ganon's influence on Hyrule. The swamp of the Deku Kingdom has been poisoned, their princess kidnapped, all while the Deku King is trying to put this monkey to death for what happened to the princess. The Snowhead region is suffering an eternal winter as the Gorons can only look to a transformed Link for hope, thinking he's actually their tragic hero Darmani III who's come to save the day. In the Great Bay, a Zora guitarist gives his dying wish to Link to save his vocalist Lulu's eggs that he was mortally wounded trying to retrieve from pirates.
Jeez.
And Ikana Canyon, a region filled with the undead after Skull Kid cast a curse, causing these monsters to run amok and roam free. The situation in Termina seems dire, and many have lost their lives or have been irreversibly cursed from the actions of Skull Kid. And much like the side quest I mentioned earlier, each of these situations seem catastrophic. But there's this persistent theme of hope and acceptance that shines through all of these stories, with Link serving as the catalyst. All of these major quests and side quests must be completed while the player keeps an eye on the 3-day cycle, but with the Ocarina of Time, Link has tools at his disposal to slow down or speed up time if need be, which comes in handy so you're not rushing or waiting around too much throughout the game. Despite this, the 3-day cycle can still be...
I mean, it is nice that you can slow down or speed up time if you need to. I mean, that was a nice thing about Final Fantasy 13 Part 3, honestly, too, because you could do that in that game as well. But it's just the fact that there's even a time limit at all. You know what I mean? The fact that there's even a time limit at all is what the thing I just don't like, usually. I just feel like I can't enjoy the game fully. Like, I can't explore anywhere. I feel rushed, you know, and it's like I feel uncomfortable with it, you know what I mean?
Become a bit tedious, especially if you're a completionist. I think we tend to look back a lot on the story aspects of this game, which I think is what makes it shine, but I have to mention that the time constraints do make certain parts of this a bit rough.
Yeah,
Speaking
exactly.
Of story,
exactly. Yeah.
Apologies, but I'm going to be going a bit heavy on the plot for the next few minutes, so bear with me. Once all the giants are free, the player can now face Skull Kid on the final day at the top of the clock tower. It's time for your fated rematch. The sequence of events will begin very similar to the first fight, but this time Link is prepared. He whips out his ocarina and plays Oath to Order to summon the 4 giants that he freed, all coming to his aid as they stop the moon from its descent.
Oh, okay. Alright, cool.
I still think this scene is awesome. I can't put my finger on why, but it just is. With the moon stopped, Tal and Tattle are reunited, but this is not over yet. This is where we find out Majora's Mask itself was the one causing all the harm in the first place, taking advantage of a lonely Skull Kid to do its bidding. With this in mind, the mask throws Skull Kid aside and ascends into the moon to consume the world. So we gotta head inside and finish him off. Huh. That's not what I was expecting. So if you went out of your way to complete all the side quests in the game, there's one last strange occurrence that happens before it's time to face the final boss. Within the moon are these 4 children, all wearing the mask of the bosses you've faced up to this point. And at the center, a child wearing Majora's Mask. If you offer up your collectible mask to these children, they'll put you through hide-and-seek trials, testing your skills with each of the transformation masks. But as you find these children in each trial, they'll start asking these thought-provoking questions like, if you do the right thing, does it really make everybody happy?
Damn!
But by the end of the last trial, you would have given up all of your collectible masks. So when it's time to speak with the kid who has Majora's Mask on, he gives you the Fierce Deity's Mask, the last transformation mask and the most powerful mask in the game. It allows Link to transform into a Super Saiyan adult version of himself, essentially, but I find the description of the mask pretty interesting. Could this mask's dark powers be as bad as Majora? If all of these transformation masks possesses the soul of a deceased individual, whose soul is inside this mask? This isn't really answered in game, but Game Informer did present this question to Aonuma as well. The best I can give you is just a suggestion. The best way to think about it is that the memories of all the people of Termina are inside of the fierce deity mask. Personally, this feels like a hand wave to me, but I'll take that explanation. And there's also these kids within the moon here. Who are they? They somewhat resemble the mask salesman, and one of them even says to Link, "Masks, you have a lot. You too will be a mask salesman?" People still speculate the meaning of these scenarios to this day, but let's get to the ending first before I present the theories. So the child with Majora's Mask asked to play a game of good guys against bad guys, with Link playing the bad guy. It's time for the final showdown with Majora's Mask. Link will have to face the evil within the mask itself, which evolves into two different forms: Majora's Incarnate, which for some reason is doing a whole Russian squat dance, and the final form, Majora's Wrath, a whole ass demon. Sometimes I think game developers ask themselves how they could scare the piss out of children back in the early 3D days. Anyway, once Majora's Wrath is defeated, it evaporates from existence along with the moon that placed the future of Termina in the balance. Peace is restored, and Termina can once again see the dawn of a new day. We see Skull Kid make peace with the four giants once again, reassuring him that he is still their friend, and they return to the four corners of the land to continue watching over the people. Skull Kid, overwhelmed with emotion, makes peace with the situation and asks to be Link's friend as well, remembering the time where he played Saria's song for him in the Lost Woods. Just as a quick aside, this line here is debated whether it's Link or Saria that Skull Kid is referring to. I guess I'll leave that one up for you guys to decide, but I believe the main implication here is that this is the same Skull Kid you befriend in the Lost Woods. Even though I know there's multiple, I think they're trying to highlight that this is the same one. With the evil fully purged from Majora's Mask, Link holds up his end of the bargain with the mask salesman, who finally claims the mask and bids everyone farewell before disappearing. So Link, Skull Kid, Tattle, and Tal.
Honestly, that mask salesman was my favorite character in the game. He really was. He's just like funny, you know. This is like, especially the part where he just made an organ appear out of nowhere. It was like, what the fuck?
Part ways, with Link heading back to Hyrule as the Carnival of Time can finally go on without a hitch. The credits give some closure to the people of Termina that Link meets along the way, like showing the wedding of Anju and Kafei, or Romani and Cremia practicing archery together, and in the final shot, we see Link continuing through the forest as we zoom into a drawing carved into a tree stump, with Skull Kid, Link, the fairies, and the four giants being friends. And this is nice. Where we say goodbye to this incarnation of Link as a main character. Majora's Mask is a Zelda title that leaves a lot for discussion even to this day. Like, the world of Termina itself is somewhat of a mystery, but is mostly chalked up as a parallel dimension to Hyrule, which I wouldn't think is too far-fetched since we've seen a few Zelda games already tread that territory. Somehow Link falls into this realm after chasing down a possessed Skull Kid, much like Alice stumbling into Wonderland, and if we take the legends of the four giants scaring off Skull Kid into another world, it makes a lot of sense that he fled to Hyrule to escape their anger, hiding out there before discovering Majora's Mask, which probably gave him the power and courage to return to wreak havoc in Termina in the first place. At some points within these events, he befriended Tattle and Tal, who helped support him when he felt the giants abandoned him. There are other theories from the Zelda Encyclopedia which hardcore Zelda fans don't seem to fully subscribe to, but it's worth mentioning nonetheless. Their explanation says that after
Alright, I'll admit the story was actually pretty good. I'm gonna admit, I mean, even though we didn't play it, but yeah, I mean, I like the story. I mean, that's a good thing about it. I'm actually glad we watched these, so that way we can just move on, you know. And especially, I mean, it's already January. We've got Resident Evil 9 coming up next month, at the end of next month, and as well as a couple other games that I really wanted to play, like Saros at the beginning of March. Or no, that got delayed to April, sorry. But Crimson Desert, that's also going to be in March. So, yeah. I'm just glad that we're moving along, honestly.
Right on our journey through the realms of